information on the topic is unbelievably large and cannot be covered in one video. So I will just go briefly through the main points, and you guys can base on that and Google everything about it. So first thing first, what is this whole Planet X doomsday theory? Let's go back to December 1983, when scientists of the IRAS Space Observatory announced that they have discovered Planet X. A week later, the story was retracted, and in 1987, NASA announced that its two pioneering spacecraft, which had been exploring beyond the known planets since 1972, had failed to find any evidence supporting the existence of the object. Hence, people started assuming that NASA was trying to, for whatever reason, cover up the existence of Planet X. The real story, however, is a little bit more complicated than that. In December 1983, IRAS announced that their infrared satellites detected an object that could have been as large as the planet Jupiter, and so close that it might have been part of the solar system. The thing is, nobody was certain what it was, and the planet was only one of many possibilities. It could have been a giant asteroid, a nearby protostar that never became hot enough to actually become a star, or even a very dense gas cloud. Newspapers, of course, wanted the best possibilities for their article title. The Washington Post, one of the many examples, zeroes in on the object being an additional planet. Let me repeat, nobody, even NASA and IRAS themselves, knew exactly what the object was and how close it actually was. Later on, when NASA found out about these articles, it had them retracted. So that's a very brief story for you to understand where the ideas of NASA covering up a huge planet came from. Ever since, numerous conspiracy theories sprung up. One of the best known is from Nancy Leader. Nancy Leader, a woman from Wisconsin who claimed that she received brain implant from extraterrestrial beings named Zetas as a girl. In 1995, she said that a large planetary object, Planet X, would sweep to the Earth in 2003. The collisions or near miss between the two planets would cause a stop in the Earth's rotation for 6 days, physical pole shifts, disruption of the Earth's magnetic core, and displacement of the Earth's crust, thus dooming all life. The things about this theory is that if a planet as large as Jupiter is heading towards Earth, we would have, long before the impact, felt the changes caused by the gravitational forces of it, not to mention how it would have affected closer planets even earlier, which would in turn affect the Earth. In 2003, when the doomsday did not come, Leader claimed that the actual days of the impact must be kept secret for social security reasons. Another famous theory that believers of the NIBIRU catalysm cling to is that of Zeitarium-16, author of the book The 12 Planets. He put forward the doomsday prophecies from his interpretations of writings on a Sumerian tablet. The tablet showed what is supposedly our solar system, with 11 planets surrounding the Sun. Because the Sumerian counted the Moon as a planet itself, there are the 9 currently planets, the Moon, and so the 11th planet on the tablet must be the 10th planet of the solar system, or Planet X. Sitchin called the planet NIBIRU and said it passed by the Earth every 3,600 years, allowing its sentient inhabitants to interact with humanity. The date of passing was then fused with the Mayan doomsday prophecies of December 2012. Of course, we know that there was no doomsday in 2012 because it's already 2018 and I'm still here with you guys. The date of the event was then moved up to 2013 and delayed on and on and on and on. Nothing happened so far. People start waking up, and the story faded. So let's recap what I have said so far. Some people believe that the giant unknown planet, covered up by NASA, is heading towards Earth, wreaking havoc as it hits and destroys the Earth or nearly misses the Earth, disrupting the Earth's magnetic fields and orbits, dooming all life either ways. The story of Planet X or NIBIRU, or whatever you want to call it, was recently brought back to the spotlight, causing panic among those who probably skip elementary physics or critical reading. The reason was because of NASA's announcement of a possible planet the size of Neptune, named Planet Ninth because Pluto is no longer classified as a planet. This hypothetical planet orbits our suns in a highly elongated orbit, far beyond Pluto. The object could have a mass about 10 times that of Earth, and orbit around 20 times farther from the Sun on average than Neptune. It may take between 10,000 and 20,000 Earth years to make one full orbit around the Sun. The hypothesis comes from the observation that small objects in the Kuiper belt tend to follow orbits that cluster together, suggesting mathematically that a named planet is hiding far beyond our dwarf planet Pluto. Mind you, NASA states that the announcement does not mean there is a new planet in our solar system. The existence of this distant world is only mathematically theoretical at this point, and no direct observation of the object's nickname has been made so far. Of course, the last statement, "no observation has been made," raises the issues of a possible cover-up. Believers of the Planet X doomsday once again have a chance to recycle our material, create a date that will very likely be postponed on and on and on, and probably some strange people will once again come out of nowhere, claiming to have implants or ancient texts, confirming the catastrophe. Let me tell you again why these theories are nothing but nonsense. First of all, physics and gravity say that if such a huge cosmic body is heading towards Earth, there would already have been massive disturbance on every planet in the solar system, which are even visible to the naked eyes. The object would have already messed up with the Earth's magnetic fields and orbits, bringing disruption and destruction as consequences. Secondly, as for the people who claim to have taken photos of an object behind the Sun, I hated to break it to you, those are lens flares. Thirdly, for the people who believe that the Sun is acting abnormally, there is nothing abnormal about it. It is only part of a cycle that lasts far longer than any life. In other words, what you are perceiving as abnormal is only abnormal for you on the scale of a human's life expectancy, not on a geological scale, let alone an astrological scale. And for those who believe that Planet X will not hit the Earth directly, but pass by the off clouds every 26 million years and plunge asteroids into the Earth, the orbit of the hypothetical object found by NASA is only 10,000 to 20,000 years, and third it would throw comets at Earth much more often if it was really so. Not to mention, there have been only 5 mass extinctions in the Earth's 4 billion years history of life, so every 26 million years is too frequent a number. Last but not least, you can spot Pluto in space with an ordinary 10-inch telescope. Yes, you heard that right. You can spot an object smaller than the Moon at a distance 40 times longer than that between the Earth and the Sun with an ordinary telescope. So why do you think nothing discovered a Neptune-sized planet heading towards our planet? Well, you don't necessarily have to be a genius to know why. There simply is no giant planet heading towards Earth. Let me finish the topic by quoting from American astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. Planet X is a marvelous work of fiction by people who flunked physics in high school. The whole force is just old material being recycled and modified all over and over and over again, and the date of doom will be pushed further and further and further into the future. The hysteria will once again die out until some newcomers to the topic or hasty readers and media brings us up again because some mathematical theories being assumed to be 100% real. So there is nothing to be worried about. Thank you for stopping by, and it would be wonderful if you like and subscribe to our channels for future updates. Until next time, stay safe and keep looking to the sky. This is JT at Asteroid, signing out.
Hello everyone, it's JT here at Asteroid, and today we going straight into the issue that we are most concerned about, Planet X. If you have seen our recent videos of footage about the miracle of the sun, then this video will be somewhat the same in the way that I discuss the matter. Meaning I will not be talking much, but will just show you video clips as well as images that we have collected from sources all over the world that captures Planet X. As usual, here's a brief introduction on Planet X for those who are new to this concept. The consensus by many is that there is a giant rogue planet or system of planets even, that lurks beyond the known planets of the solar system, and it will come into contact with the Earth, creating a catastrophic event known as the NIBIRU catalysm. One of the most compelling evidence that we have for this occurrence is the sightings of a second sun from all over the world, but most clearly seen in the southern hemisphere because Planet X is said to be arriving from below Earth's elliptic plane. The first one I'm going to show you is probably a very good evidence of what is happening up there, because you see clearly a rogue red planet in the sky. The thing is, according to someone who used to work with the Hubble telescope that we were once lucky enough to interview, Planet X is red because it is made up of a lot of iron oxide. You know, the rust in iron that we usually see. So here's the whole footage, captured in the middle of July 2017. At first I, and probably many other watchers, thought it was somewhat a lens flare, because it was kind of blurry and somewhat see-through, but if you inspect it closer you will see that it is not. You see it's quite, solid, and you can see the clouds fly over it, indicating that it's there but far beyond our atmosphere. Now I'm going to show you that clips again, but zoom in closer on Planet X and you will even see an airplane passing by. Next, we have a drone footage.
Pan the camera to the left. He's going to find out there's something there besides the sun. And this is just wonderful. Take a look at that. Now, of course, we would expect the sun and Nibiru, but there's more. So this means that it's getting closer, and not only that, it means that, well, we have others. Now, at first, I really thought this was an illusion, right? This was some sort of lens flare caused by the polarized lens. So this is not, because when you move the camera, you have no response coming from these objects. So we have the lens flare right down there. As you can see, he's going to pan the camera and you're going to see the lens flare moving from right to left and left to right. These objects are stationary next to the sun. Now one would ask, James, why don't I see this during the day? Well, because you need welding lens or a polarized lens so you can see these objects, because the sun is too bright.
As you can see, this drone was just taking an aerial clip, but when it captured the suns and lowered its light settings, you can clearly see another object and the lens flare of that object next to the sun. Then we have another clip to show you that what we see up in the sky is definitely not lens flare.
At first I really thought it was an illusion, but it isn't.
As you can see, the second object up there is too bright to be the moon, especially when the sun is still around. Additionally, you can see its reflection clearly on the water below. Next one was captured in 2016. Again, you can see planet X in bright red and reflecting onto the water surface. Then we have this video taken last October. It's not as high definitions as the previous ones, but you can clearly see another object close to the sun. In the next one, you can see it set with the Sun. That's basically all I want to show you guys today. If all these captures are still not enough to convince you to believe in Planet X, then I'm not sure what will. Just know that NASA and the authorities will do whatever they can to cover your eyes and convince you that it is not real. President Reagan even made it a national security mandate and prohibit any institutions or agencies to address the issues in public, so you can probably imagine how severe the problem actually is. They even spray mist into the sky, an act known as chemtrailing, in order to make it difficult for us to spot Planet X in the sky. So the ending message here is that keep an eye on the sky as well as your physical surrounding, because signs are everywhere. Also subscribe to our channel because we have updates coming out very often. And don't forget to stay safe, guys. Until next time, this is JT at X Science signing out. 1,200 planets were verified in 2016 alone, and the suns appear to be dancing and blinking in the sky. New discoveries and weird phenomena are taking place all over the world, from the sky to the earth. What's up, YouTubers? This is JT at X Science, and today we are bringing you some very captivating discovery. In case you didn't know, in 2016 alone, the number of planets beyond solar system being verified reached a staggering 1,200, and the number is still increasing. In other words, we are living in a golden age of astronomical discoveries, and I'm really glad about that. Among these verifications, there is one that does not make sense physically. So basically, what they found was a gas giant orbiting a dwarf star. Theoretically speaking, dwarf stars such as this one, which is only half as big as our Sun, do not have a system with enough matter to create gas giants. Yet this one does have one. And what is even more interesting about the system is that the gas giant is 25% the radius of the Sun. Now let's put that in a more familiar perspective. Our biggest gas giant, Jupiter, is only 10% the radius of the Sun. So the gas giant of the dwarf star we are speaking about is in fact 12.5% the radius of our Sun, making it even bigger than Jupiter. This came to the scientific community as a complete surprise because, as I have mentioned before, it is not theoretically feasible for such a system to form in the first place. Also, this gas giant orbits its sun at a distance so close that it makes a full orbit in only 3 Earth days. So yes, it is incredible. Among other discoveries, it is also worth mentioning Travis, another dwarf sun with 7 Earth-sized planets. Why is it worth mentioning? Well, because many people believe that this system is Nemesis, or as we know it, the system of NIBIRU. Why do we say so? Because we have a Hubble insider telling us so. You can actually find the extract of his interview in one of our past videos, and so I'm not going to talk too much about it because we have other topics to cover today. So we all know that the whole solar system is acting in a very weird manner. One of the anomalies that have been mentioned by a lot of families as well as people living near the pole is the increase in the Earth's wobble, which is believed by many to be the cause of the sudden dramatic increase in the volcanic and seismic activities around the world. Again, We have our videos on these people stating how the sun's angle has been changing throughout the years. So I'll move on and I'll come back to the volcanoes and earthquakes later in this video. The strange phenomenon that I would like to put a great emphasis on today is called the miracle of the sun. Some of you in the audience might have also heard of it as the miracle of Fatima. So the story goes like this. On October 13th, 1917, this extraordinary event took place in the Portuguese city of Fatima, hence the name. It was proclaimed that Virgin Mary performed miracles on the world to remind humans of how they have not been good inhabitants of planet Earth. Of course, there is no visual proof because this is 1917 we are talking about, and in every unlikely case that you don't know, cameras were not very common then. Anyway, we have testimonials from many sources, including that of Pope Pius XII. Hence, this happening is quite credible. What happens then was that there was a torrential downpour, after which the sun appears as a swirling disk heading towards the earth. The grounds and the attendees who were soaked by the downpour become dry almost instantly as the sun radiates crimson red lights that seem to penetrate the clouds. The sun then seemed to jump out of its fixed positions and dance around in a trajectory toward the earth, at the same time radiating multicolored light rays. Of course, there are deniers of the event who believe that the harsh sunlight on that day caused mental and visual illusions to the people on site. However, I assure you that this happening is real because again, the Pope saw it and he was not there. He saw it from the Garden of Vatican. The phenomenon also affects many practices of churches around the world. Also, from the documents that we have left, the number of witnesses could have reached 1 million, and it is not possible for 1 million people to have at the same time the same mental and visual illusion for the same 10 minutes. And if this is not convincing enough, we seem to have had another miracle of the sun in Nigeria. A gathering on October 13th in 2017 of 50,000 spectators experienced the same thing that hit Fatima 100 years ago. A sudden downpour followed by the sun blinking and changing its color. What is interesting is, again, this seems to be a reminder from above because it manifests itself in times of trouble. In this particular case, Nigerians were in the middle of political tensions and unrest, and the miracles are very likely to be a reminder of some sort of enlightenment. Another weird phenomenon took place in November. No, I'm not talking about the wind globe or second suns because that's far too normal nowadays. What I'm talking about is a triple sun in Panama City Beach on the 2nd of November 2017. If you think it's another fake photos or I am exaggerating, watch this video yourself. As you can see, there were clearly 3 distinct objects, not illusions, because you can see 3 distinct light rays shining onto the water. Additionally, they gradually set below the clouds, one by one. Also, watch these spots again closely. You see, they were all so close that they seemed to be one object before they split and became evidently three different objects. If all these evidence are still not enough to convince you that solar system is acting strangely, then think about these questions. Why is the United States conducting a series of national drills in preparations for a solar storm? Just for your information, solar storms are of magnetic natures, and when one powers up enough to hit the Earth, it can completely alter the terrestrial magnetic fields as we know it and break down the entire planet's power and radio grid. In this day and age, a life without communications technologies or electricity would mean economic collapse, political unrest, and social chaos. And in 2016, President Obama signed an executive order that would coordinate efforts to prepare the United States for such an event. And the ministries of defense as well as the Navy has been ruling nationally ever since. Of course, they are not too open with the publics about it, because a lot of people know solar anomaly is a sign that Planet X system is approaching closer, and it is only a matter of time before meteors shower and the gravitational destruction that would wipe out most of human civilizations as well as life on Earth. Another sign clearly indicating these changes is one I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the staggering rise in seismic and volcanic activities all over the globe. In case you don't know, you can watch our thread on Kilauea and Yellowstone. But to sum it up for you, virtually every volcano around the world is roaring into life, with almost 40 of them being aggressively active. Kilauea has only stopped about after 3 months of eruptions. And this is only a virtual stop, and we don't know when another flow of lava will spill out again. Yellowstone are also having cracks open up, clear sign of the super eruption. You see, if Yellowstone reawaken, 87,000 Americans will die immediately, and two-thirds of the countries, equivalent to almost 7 million square miles, would instantly be hostile to life. Yellowstone is very well capable of worsening the current mass extinction and kill off most humans before Planet X really arrives. So the future is not so bright, or actually, it's too bright, too hot and bright to survive, in fact. So you see, things really are changing, and it's not only physically present, but also religiously. These chilling signs are really telling us that something big is coming, and it is changing everything that we know. As the elites are preparing for it, we are kept in the dark. What the elites are doing, you ask? Well, US, Russia, and China are building underground bunkers and ghost cities all over their countries in preparations for catalysms. And please, if you have time, find the videos on our channels and keep yourself updated, because the smaller bits of information may very well be your key to survival when Judgment Day is here. That's basically all I want to talk about today, guys. Keep looking to the sky, because signs are showing up all over the world, and you guys will be very important in informing us and informing each other of anything coming from above. Also, we would really like a surprise, because not only that is very encouraging to us, it keeps you notified of the latest news, so you can be best prepared for what is to come. New videos will be coming out very soon, guys. So keep looking to the skies, and more importantly, stay safe. You're watching X Science, and I am JT, signing out.